Let's hope they have something for us. Hi, are you Mr. Han?
Yes, yes.
I suppose so. You're the only person here. You have to be Han Chen. So thanks for having me here. I'm here because we're going to have this very big exhibition at the National Museum of Singapore. It's called the People's Collection. So, and we are looking for old things, particularly objects from the pre-war period, pre-World War II.
Right.
And I understand that you have something for me.
Yes, I think so. I have some things which I can show you and see maybe this is of use to you.
Okay.
Can I show it to you?
That must be the box, right?
Yes, it is.
Looks very exciting. Oh, I see. These are all advertisements.
Yes, these are actually original artworks for our press advertising that was done something way pre-war years.
He says, I don't want this rotten bum.
Yes.
Ah, the real tiger bum is what I want.
Tiger Balm, the king of balms and the balm of kings. And this is a classic. This is Tiger Balm, the torch that banished the torches. And it's even signed by the
artist.
Designer. Yeah, the artist.
But I guess it's done in 1930s or?
Oh yeah, even earlier than that. But it was published in 1930.
I see.
In the newspapers then.
I can see the very nationalist influence there. You look at them in their high boots and military uniform. Now that speaks to me in 1930s of things like in China, where a very nationalist government under Chiang Kai-shek is kind of emerging. And you're coming out of the warlord period where they've had this civil war fighting for these different military factions. This I guess really reflects historically of the time period and how people see it. How did Tiger Balm end up in Singapore?
Well, Tiger Balm actually started with Ho Chu Kim, the founder. He was a herbalist for the emperor. Well, he left China to come to seek his fortune in this part of the world. Now, he has two sons. One's called Au Bun Haw, the other one's called Au Bun Pa. Now, these two sons are the ones that actually took the business to its height. This couple of gentlemen were really very far-sighted. And what they did was, he started newspapers because those days he knows that the way to reach consumers and the way to tell them is visual. So he do a lot of visual impact rather than a lot of words. Now then, as the product grew, he started advertising it with strategy which is beyond his time when he launched it. For example, he has a tiger car. He orders a car from Germany and then he paints it with stripes and with a tiger head in the front.
So
okay, so every time he presses the horn, he goes, roar.
I wonder how they did that though.
I wonder too, we wanted to repeat that today, we can't do it.
You can't do it? I have to ask you this question.
Yes.
Would you be so kind as to allow us to borrow these items for the exhibition, the People's Collection at the National Museum?
Well, of course, this is something we like to share with the public and it's good to know, but please, you must have your word, this will be kept safely because we cannot replace them.
No, absolutely.
Okay?
Well-to-do Singaporeans, such as the Au brothers, were now rubbing shoulders with the colonial establishment. And were they rivals in the grandeur of their houses? Though the Europeans always tried to maintain their links to the old country wherever they could.
They were determined not to miss out on the delights of the Jazz Age, just because they were in Singapore. This is one of the prime destinations, and I've come to find out more. I'm here at the Raffles Hotel with Mr. Leslie Danker. He's the resident historian. And the reason why he's the resident historian is because he's been serving in this hotel for the last 41 years. Now, we are standing in the billet room, am I right?
Yeah, the bar and billet room.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the history of this place?
Okay, the first proprietors of Raffles Hotel, the Sakis brothers, started Raffles 1st December 1887. Then it expanded and expanded.
A gathering place is Raffles Hotel, one of the most renowned hostelries in the East. At tiffin time, the midday meal hour, the veranda of this well-known rendezvous is always crowded with those who come to enjoy cooling drinks, fine music, and pleasant companionship.
Now, we were under the British for many, many years. So when they were here working, they would tell each other at the workplace, we'll meet at Raffles. And on the weekends, they moved the tables away, dancing in the lobby.
The party went on right through the 1930s, with the Raffles the place to be seen. It was all part of a lavish lifestyle. which many of the officials and their families would not have enjoyed back home in England.
And that included how they got around town. In the final part of our first treasure hunt, Chen's off to meet a collector. He might just have something spectacular for us.
Hey Chen,
Kevin,
how are you, mate?
not too bad, not too bad. So this is it, huh?
This is it. This is my garage mahal.
It looks fancy. Kevin White's an Australian resident in Singapore, and he's an avid collector as well.
Yeah, this is it. It's a 1941 Ford Mercury. It was actually assembled at Bukit-Timah, the old Ford motor plant.
Right. That's a place where it's famous for the Second World War where they surrendered,
Right, yeah. It was actually assembled in November in 1941, just before
the war broke out.
Yeah, a couple of weeks before, war was looming. The Japanese were almost on Malaya, so it would have been a hell of a time to build a convertible. And it's a special car for the Ford plant too, because in those days they really only assembled sedans and utility vehicles. Somebody ordered a convertible, and obviously they didn't get it because when the Allies rescued Singapore, the Dutch actually took it and sent it down to Batavia in those days.
Wow, so it's requisitioned by the Dutch military.
Yeah, and of course they got kicked out of Indonesia shortly after, and in '49 a Chinese doctor bought the car. And he had it until '64, until he passed away, and then put it in storage. And we actually found her in Bandung. And we pulled it out after 30 years, and it actually didn't need that much work, a lot of mechanical work, but really the dream for me was to get it back to its former glory, to sort of grace the roads of Singapore again, because there wasn't too many old cars remaining on the road, and I knew that there wasn't a car pre-war from the Ford plant, so it was pretty important that I got it back.
Whoa, there you go. That's good.
Yeah, she's a bit loud. How am I going there?
Yeah, good.
Alright, we'll just stop her there, okay? Maybe we'll take the lid off.
Whoa, that's the full works, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, this is so exciting.
Maybe you want to take it for a drive?
Yes, if you could, we'll be delighted and thrilled.
Alright, man.
Okay,
Jump in.
will do. Yeah,
Well, I tell you what, man, we better put our sunnies on. What do you reckon?
I think so. It's a nice, bright, and clear blue skies. Whoa. I like the bounce.
Yeah, it's very springy. They used to make them like sofas, the seats back in those days. But you can imagine somebody buying this car in 1941. I think it still would have been pretty special. I don't think there were too many convertibles, around, back in then, and it was kind of probably pretty posh. A lot of British cars in Singapore, but there wasn't too many US cars, and just the sheer physical size of them, I think that people really enjoyed that. So here we are, home again, Jiggity Joe. Hey, why don't you pop the hood, mate? I wanted to show you something.
Right here.
Yeah. Every time they build a car at the old Ford Motor Company of Malaya, Singapore Strait Settlements, they made a plaque. And I wanted to show you it. It's just on the end here. It's pretty cool, and it shows you the year that it was made, where it was made, as well as the serial number, which makes this car more valuable.
Now, Kevin, I have to ask you this. Even if I beg you, implore you, or beseech you, may we have this car on display together with the People's Collection at the National Museum of Singapore?
National Museum of Singapore? I think I'd have to. My wife's a docent there, and she'd be thrilled to have our car in the collection.
Fantastic.
All right, good stuff. Thanks for coming.
Generally, what a great car.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well, unfortunately, because of the war, the family never took possession of it.
that's a real pity. Considering what was unfolding, of course, I think priorities would have changed. But right here, standing in this garrison and thinking back, this would have given us a real sense of security.
Yes, this is Tanglin Barracks, and this is the oldest military barracks in Singapore. It dates back to mid-19th century. Well, leading up to the Second World War, you would have battalions of European infantrymen, armed to the teeth, running around. So that would have given you some sort of security. But everything was about to change.
It certainly was. And in our next episode, we will attempt to locate artifacts from the World War II period.
This program was brought to you by Far East Square.
This is a treasure chest which my grandfather had.
Mary's Treasure puts us on the trail of a bittersweet story.
Where the bombs were falling and everything around you, and you were born inside.
This week, we're hunting down objects from the People's Collection from the darkest period in Singapore's history, World War II.
So SP Chua could really have lost his life just because of these.
Treasure Hunt, Wednesday, 8 p.m. on Channel News Asia.